Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, coming to you from beautiful but a bit crisp Connecticut, but I just had to comment on that crazy press conference with the infamous Dr. Fauci. If you haven't seen it, here it is.
About this.
Dr. Fauci, only 13% of...
Hold on one second. We have a process here. I'm not calling out on people who yell. And you're being disrespectful to your colleagues, and you're being disrespectful to our guests. I will not call on you if you yell, and also you're taking time off the clock because Dr. Fauci has to leave in a couple of minutes. I'm done. I'm not getting into a back and forth with you. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Dr. Fauci,
But she's
only
asking
30.
great questions.
You're not Jeremy. Go ahead, Jeremy.
You ask your question. You should allow her to answer the question.
Jeremy.
She's asking a valid
Jeremy.
question, Dr. Fauci, on the origin of COVID-19.
It is not your turn.
No,
It is not your turn.
You can't on the same people. That's the thing. You can't read a press briefing. You need to call from people across the room. She has a valid question. She's asking about the origin of COVID-19.
I hear the question.
And Dr. Fauci is the best person to answer
I
that
hear your question, but we're not doing this the way you want it. This is the disrespectful. It is. I'm done. Simon, I'm done. Simon, I'm done. I'm done with you right now.
Well, it does look like the pressure of what's about to come down the pike with the whole new Republican Congress is already getting to them. Now, needless to say, this sorry excuse for a White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, is being widely and rightfully excoriated by the media for her ridiculously condescending behavior and demeanor in that press conference. I mean, the question, which came from a reporter from the Daily Caller, the question involved the controversy over the origins of COVID, which of course is exactly what the new Republican House is going to be investigating, along with Hunter Biden and the corruption of the FBI and the like. And what just happened is only serving to prove the point of the investigations, because instead of simply letting Fauci answer the question of what he knew and when about the COVID origins, Jean-Pierre got in front of him and rebuked the reporter for being disrespectful. And as you saw, to their credit, other reporters weren't having it. They defended a perfectly legitimate question asked in a perfectly legitimate manner. And that forced Karine Jean-Pierre to go into a full tantrum and run away. It was a pathetic sight to behold, to say the least. But lest we let Karine Jean-Pierre's absurd antics get in the way, that question, the question of the origins of COVID and what and when Fauci knew about it, is not going to go away. And this, of course, is because of the widely recognized plausibility of the lab leak theory of COVID's origins against the backdrop of the US-funded gain-of-function research at the Wuhan lab. I mean, political intrigue doesn't get more enticing than this. I mean, the bottom line here is, did Fauci deliberately attempt to downplay the lab leak theory in order to basically cover up his funding of the gain-of-function research in that very lab? As I'm sure you all know, it was widely reported back in October of last year that the National Institutes of Health admitted that they did indeed fund gain-of-function research on bats infected with coronaviruses at the lab in Wuhan, despite repeated denials by Fauci that U.S. tax dollars were ever used in gain-of-function research. So just so that we're clear, gain-of-function research, bottom line, intentionally makes a virus deadlier or more intense so as to be able to anticipate its variants and forecast possible cures. But of course, the risk in all of this is that the viruses that are being researched and made all the more deadly and transmissible have the possibility of spreading outside the lab. So, of course, the question is, if that were to happen, what would the political pressures be to basically cover up any participation in the gain-of-function research? Well, back in April of last year, the Wall Street Journal reported that the National Institutes of Health, under the directorship of Fauci, actually funded the Wuhan lab's research through an organization known as the Eco Health Alliance to the tune of $3.7 million. And now, it looks like the NIH is indeed openly admitting this. They did fund EcoHealth, and EcoHealth in turn funded gain-of-function research at the Wuhan lab. And then, on top of all this, you had the email scandal that rocked Fauci like never before. And I gotta say, it's times like these when I'm so thankful for the amazing reporting and informationally rich news resources coming from the Epoch Times. And now I'm so excited to announce the launch of Epoch TV. Epoch TV is a censorship-free video platform with original news programs like Crossroads, The Larry Elder Show, Facts Matter, American Thought Leaders, and documentaries investigating critical issues that are not covered anywhere else. It's absolutely amazing. To make it even better, they now have a special offer just for our viewers. Just click on that link below right now and sign up and just start watching. No credit card required, nothing, no strings attached. And if you decide to subscribe within 14 days, it's just $1 for 2 months. You heard that right, $1 for 2 months. So what are you waiting for? This is amazing. Click on that link below or go to watchepoch.com/Turley and subscribe today. All right, so back in June of last year, thousands of private emails from Fauci were released to the Washington Post, to BuzzFeed News, to CNN through the Freedom of Information Act. And these were emails that were dating from January to June of the year 2020. So this is when COVID first reached our shores and developed into the full-blown pandemic. And the emails were in many respects startling. They were startling in terms of what they revealed about the radical discrepancy between what Fauci actually knew about the lab leak theory from the very beginning and what he publicly stated he knew, which is obviously a huge problem for Fauci given that those public statements were under oath. But we now know that as early as January 31st, 2020, Fauci had received an email from the head of the nation's largest biomedical research facility warning Fauci that COVID was very possibly engineered coming from a lab rather than the so-called wet market theory, right? So the whole question as to whether COVID was engineered was front and center with Fauci and the NIH from the very beginning of the pandemic. But of course, given that the NIH funded gain-of-function research in Wuhan under Fauci, there appears to have been very deliberate efforts to downplay that origins theory so as to cover up that funding. And so that makes this reporter's question regarding what Fauci knew about the lab leak theory and when he knew it, and then comparing and contrasting his answer to what he stated under oath, is one of the most relevant and important questions that could possibly be asked at this point. And now you know why the White House is starting to panic over all of this. Because if officials were not honest about this, then what else were they dishonest about? Those are the kinds of questions that are going to be repeatedly asked, and I don't think there's any place for the White House to hide. As always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. And you'll definitely want to check out my latest video on the GOP majority growing, all as Arizona County after Arizona County is refusing to certify their election results until what happened in Maricopa County finally gets resolved. You got to check this out. So make sure to click on that link and I'll see you over there. God bless.